Hello, everybody. Today we are showing featured entries from the March Art Dare and also announcing the May Art Dare. If you would like to grow as an artist and you can't afford an art class, we've got everything you need here at Art Prof: critiques, tutorials, and professional development. The March Art Dare was all about printmaking. We invited all of you to do any form of printmaking, and it was so much fun seeing all the various techniques. Now, Jordan, how much do you know about printmaking?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 0.3.
Awesome. But that's fun because then you can really look at the images as they are and not think about, ooh, did you use a cheesecloth there the way I would?
That's true. That is true. Lots of room for discovery.
Absolutely. Like Pat says, it was so much fun seeing all the prints coming together in the Discord. And I'm so happy that all of you here are supporting each other because that's such a big part of the Art Dare experience. All right. So this is Ignacio Berrios, and I think they are here with us live in the chat. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but let's take a look at their artist statement. So they explained second time trying lino cut. They created 4 designs inspired by one of their favorite birds, the Victoria crowned pigeon. Did lots of research, what they ate, their plumage, their patterns, and they ended up making about 15 prints just to have 5 that were good enough for an edition, but is really happy about how they came out. Well, what do you think about this design with the birds?
Oh, I think this is so cool. I love the symmetry. I love the how stark the contrast is from the black and white. I know there is some ways that you can change the level of contrast and make it a little more gray or lighter here and there. But I think just having it so strong, being black and white like that, is really, really solid.
Oh, it is you. Okay, fantastic. I love it so much when you guys are here with us live in the chat. Yeah, I really love some of the carving in the background, like the image in the upper right-hand corner. Does everybody see those horizontal lines that are in the background? Like that's such a beautiful pattern that is inherent in the way linoleum actually gets cut. And I'm a big printmaking nerd. I love it when there's that almost residual pattern that happens as a result of the piece. And aren't these so beautiful together as a set?
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually prefer to see them as a set because you get to see all the different types of images, all the different types of birds, and it's just a fun grouping. It's just a fun set.
Casey says is gorgeous. The 4 are all so distinct, but they still come together. Lisa says the research paid off. Absolutely. Emily says, love how you fully nerded out on learning about the birds. Fantastic. All right, the next artist we're going to talk about is Anna Nowicki. And Anna did several pieces using serigraphy. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Maybe
Oh, I
somebody
don't
can
know it.
correct me. And so Anna created films separately, and seeing the piece come together was really fulfilling. Using serigraphy allowed Anna to play with the transparency of the colors, new interactions between the shapes and digital values in the work. And in the second piece, Anna took the work of Matisse's dance and altered it to portray the creation of a cult using repetitive patterns, symbolic imagery, and vibrant colors. So I confess I have no idea how serigraphy works.
I know you're not asking me for opinions on what it could be. I have no clue.
No, who here knows what that is? Because I really have no idea, or maybe there's a different term that I'm using. I have no idea. But anyway, aren't these so much fun, Jordan?
Oh yeah, this is really cool. I'll be honest, I don't know if I fully understand the technique, but
Neither.
I do like the overall composition. I love the little bits of color and that red and black contrast. That's a lot of fun, and yeah, I think these are really like nice and abstract and creative.
Nacho says, I think serigraphy is like silk screen. Okay, well, that would explain why I don't know anything about it, because silk screening was actually the one printmaking technique that I didn't get to take a class in. So I really don't have any formal understanding of that. But Jordan, aren't these just such bold shapes and colors.
Oh yeah, I think the orange and yellow really play well off of each other, and I like the fact that it's kind of got this cylindrical hypnotic effect happening in the middle. I think that's really cool.
Okay, so Edie says serigraphy is another term for screen printing. Okay, good. I love this. How I've been doing printmaking for so long, and yet I'm still learning from all of you here. So thank you so much for exposing us to that. Crispy says the layering is gorgeous. Jennifer says, what an interesting effect. Pat says they're so chaotic, but also really controlled and composed. Well, speaking of Pat, let's take a look at some of Pat's prints. So Pat is saying that they started printmaking at the beginning of this year, and it's apparently taken over their studio practice. And Pat says, in March, I knew I'd be drawing robots every day based on a prompts list. Didn't want to get too far away from printmaking. And so Pat decided to make a print for every fifth prompt. Drawings would be mostly black and white, and all the prints are carved on rubber and printed with water-soluble ink. So you can all see here, there are two colors. There's the black layer, and there's also the blue layer, in which case you have yellow over here. But what's your take on these, Jordan?
Oh, I thought these were really cool. I remember when I first saw these, and we talked about it as a group, and we thought this was really fun. And I love the kind of Art Deco aesthetic that you have here, and the colors that you're choosing are really fun and vibrant. I especially love that, and how complex these robots are, and yet you're able to simplify them in a way that we're able to understand very easily.
Pat, your printmaking technique is absolutely immaculate. I mean, the registration here, that's where things line up, is so well done. Like registration is such a simple concept, but in terms of execution, it's not easy. A lot of the stuff doesn't line up, or something's a little bit off or something like that, but it's absolutely impeccable the way you've achieved that here. And I just think these are really good examples of shape. Don't you feel like shape is something people take for granted sometimes?
Oh yeah, shape is. I mean, it's one of those principles that we learn as toddlers, right? We learn about our circles and our diamonds and our triangles and stuff, but it's so important, and it basically determines how we create artwork later on. And one thing that I also want to mention, I like that you're changing up the perspective in that last one with the worms that you that one is really cool. I really like that.
Some really good 3-point linear perspective, Pat. Good job. So here you can all see a little bit better what the process is. So there's actually two rubber blocks. They're inked up separately depending on the color, and then you register them to line up on the page. I mean, this is hard. Like, can you believe the line work in the upper block?
Yeah, that's insane. Wow. Yeah, especially once you get towards the head of the robot where the lines get super thin. There's a lot of more dynamic a lot more distorted perspective involved in that area. Wow, that's got to be really tricky.
It's a lot of work, and it looks like you had a really fun time working on these, Pat, because it's almost like when you're having that much fun, it almost doesn't feel like work, and that's sort of the sense that I got looking at the series. Seven Angelic says these look fun. Ram says really colorful, and great point from Lisa that a lot of the robots, they look really terrific as a group. And we saw that with Ignacio's piece with the 4 images of the bird. So that's one of the things about printmaking that's really nice, is that the ability to have multiples and do that without having to make everything from scratch is just such a great opportunity. Okay, the next artist we're going to look at is Marta Rutkowska. I hope I pronounced her name correctly. And so Marta talks about trying to get the vibe of an ancient Greek vase painting to create her own mythical beast with brown paper and black ink. And Marta said they really wanted to test creating texture on linoleum block. And they also created some thumbnail sketches by tracing the linoleum piece in the sketchbook. So here we have the Hydra as a bunch of sketches. And then here are the prints. What is it like, Jordan, to see these initial sketches and then to see the final realization?
It helps me move my zero point 0.3 to about zero point 0.8. So my understanding's a little stronger, but I do really like seeing the process. I think it actually helps me to bring it more into reality because whenever you're seeing the process of someone's work, you see all the things that they had to do, all the mistakes, all the things that had to be changed, all the things that they really seem to enjoy, and how it comes down to the final piece.
And it's so cool to see what gets retained from the thumbnail and then what changed, because we have the arrangement of the various necks, which did cross over into the final print. But again, like some of the prints we've seen, this textural pattern that's happening in the dog, that really is in the language of printmaking, that carved mark that you can make. I mean, certainly I've seen people make linoleum blocks that are carved so precisely. I mean, they almost look like pen drawings in a way. But me being the cave woman I am, I happen to like how coarse and primitive those strokes are, because you can't really get this mindset in digital, right? Or at least I
It's
think.
it's harder. I think. I mean, you could definitely be rough, but you have to genuinely be okay with being more coarser or make it a little bit less refined. And I think that's a challenge for a lot of artists.
Blue Wolf says printmaking is somewhat akin to magic to me. It really does feel that way. Like when you pulled it, it's like, this thing just came out of your block. It's a really wonderful experience. And I encourage everybody to give it a shot, because there's things like jelly plates that are not that difficult to do. Yeah, Pat says they flow together, but the three separate necks still read so clearly. Jennifer says really interesting textures. Crispy says, wow. And we also have some Angelic saying, cool idea for the beast. Very nice shape. I love the way you guys come here, you cheer each other on. You're not just here just for yourself. So I greatly appreciate that support. All right, next artist, who, by the way, is here live with us in the chat, is Jennifer Noel. Jennifer was very productive. And actually, Jennifer has never done linoleum block before. And so Jennifer did an owl, reference pictures, thumbnails, digital sketch, and also a guinea pig. Yay! Jennifer's guinea pig is named Sweet Pea, and also did a multicolored linoleum print. So let's see what Jennifer put together. This is the initial digital sketch. And here's the linoleum block at the bottom with the sketch at the top as a reference. Here are some more process images. And here's a print. I remember, Jennifer, you had posted this in the Discord saying that it didn't print fully, but I actually love the texture, Jordan.
I think the texture is cool. It feels hazy. It feels kind of mysterious in a sense, and I think because it's going across the whole print, that just creates that consistency, and I think it's really fun actually.
My favorite part is how big and bulbous those eyes are. Like they feel like these glowing orbs, but then that beautiful texture of the feather that's around the eyes goes downwards into the chest of the owl, and the background. Isn't the environment wonderful?
Oh yeah, I love how you can tell the difference between the ground and the tree. Just how the directions shift like that. And it's very simple. It's not a harsh line. It's just simple directional changes.
Well, Jennifer, you did such a nice job of not over carving your block, which is really common with linoleum printmaking. You get really excited about carving, and that's fine, but you need these big basic shapes in the background that you don't carve on purpose. This is Jennifer's guinea pig, Sweet Pea. Oh my gosh, she's so funny. And I can totally see the texture. So here's Jennifer's linoleum block. Here are the first bunch of prints, which is a single color. And then we've got two other colors on top. What do you think?
It's so good. It's so good. I think that the giant eye is really selling this guinea pig. Super cute, and I love that you have the fur kind of lightly sprinkled in on the side for the texture. I think that's awesome.
Well, and it's also a really good choice of colors, Jen, because all three colors, they're actually pretty similar in terms of value, but that green overlaid on top of the orange and then the orange coming out from underneath the brown, I think the color choices were really, really nicely done. And I love the fur. The fur on the top is hilarious to me. Doesn't it look so, so fuzzy?
Oh yeah, he looks like a fuzzball for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Angelic says you can feel the floof. I would say that is very accurate. And Casey says texture kind of reminds me of pages in old paperbacks. Crispy says the lines and the cuts feel so crisp. And Lisa says carving and bark texture are a great fit. Yeah, this is a really good choice of subject, Jennifer, because there are certain things that just look really good with the inherent texture of the linoleum block. All right, the next artist we're going to talk about is Evelyn Chow. So Evelyn Chow says, printmaking was always something I've wanted to try, but since I'm a digital artist, I don't really leave my comfort zone. And over these weeks, I've experimented with these prints, made tons of mistakes, but this adventure definitely led to some cool results and lots of fun. So what do you think, Jordan?
Oh, I love this. I always like these kind of abstract, yet you can tell it's something. And here I see the birds and all of that, but the way they're arranged is really fun. Kind of reminds me of something I would see at a beach, or someone like someone who's a surfer will wear this on a shirt or something like that. I really like this.
It's a super dynamic composition, Evelyn. And it's one of those pieces that keeps you guessing. Because in the beginning, I'm like, oh, I found a bird. But then the longer you look, you're, oh, there's another one here and there's another one here. And so it's definitely a piece you want to spend time on. And how about those colors in the background?
Yeah, I think those are fun, and I appreciate the fact that you're changing them up. It's not just a simple blue or a simple pink. You're mixing up two or three different hues, and I think that really adds to how dynamic this looks overall.
And this is such a great example how Evelyn printed the same block twice, but was able to create two completely different color schemes because of that ability. So that's one of the nice things about printmaking is that you can do a lot of experimentation without having to get too caught up in a lot of the work. Ram says sometimes it takes a little nudge to explore new areas and realize your talent in it. Art Prof is a great place to provide you the nudge. Yes, we're very good. We light a little fire under your butt, and you guys do great work. Crispy says, love how energetic and bold the cuts are, plus the background adds another form of interest. And we have AA who says, these are fun angular shapes. These birds are so cute. Maybe pterodactyl crows. Who knows? We'll have to see. We'll have to ask Evelyn later. All right, the next artist is Charlotte Waintrop. And so Charlotte watched a bunch of our printmaking videos and had experience with linoleum cut. And so they gave the art dare a go, turned it into a two-tone picture, drew it, transferred it with graphite, and cut it. Same thing for the jelly plate. Chose a contrasted portrait reference, embossing with a ballpoint pen, transferring it, oil pastels, drawing on the jelly plate, acrylic markers. Have I lost you yet, Jordan?
Oh yeah, yeah, you did.
So let's take a look because Charlotte did many images. We have this one here. I'm going to guess it's a fox or a wolf-like creature. And isn't it so fun to see the process photos?
Yeah, I like I said, I have so many art books on my wall. You guys can see some of it on my shelf, and I just love seeing the making of process for anything.
I mean, some people have even said to me, oh my gosh, I like the block better than the print, which is actually a fairly common thing. But it looks like Charlotte did some type of transfer process, and transfers are oftentimes a really quick, easy way to make a print. I wish more people knew about them because they do make printmaking a lot more accessible. So, Jordan, what's it like seeing all these different versions of the same portrait?
I think it's fascinating actually because when I'm working, I pretty much just have one vision for it, and that one vision is what everyone gets to see. But it seems like when you're printmaking, you could try out a variety of different things, and you don't have to just have one option. I think that that opens up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, like Pat is asking if the print is the same, but the background is randomized, is it a monotype? That's a really good question. I mean, a monotype in theory is a print that you can only make one copy of. But the thing is, if you're messing with the background and not the print, it becomes this weird hybrid of a mixed media print. I have no idea. But traditionally, monotype tends to be just a print. It doesn't usually involve other media. So good question. I don't know. That's the answer. Okay. Next artist, who, by the way, is here live with us in the chat, is Emily Wilkins. And Emily ended up buying a set of DIY cyanotype chemicals. And so lots of prep work went into this process. Emily says, I took my time choosing, editing my own photos for transparencies, and tested out different combinations of objects for the photograms. And Emily explains, I've had so many blunders in the cyanotype crash course, but it's a thrill every time I take out a fully baked print out of the sun, rinse it, and watch those dreamy Prussian blues emerge. So I'm assuming you don't know anything about cyanotype. I don't really either. But what's your take on this series of cyanotypes, Jordan?
I think this is cool. I love that it's got this kind of dark indigo blue color that's happening all over. I don't know if that has to do with the type of print it is or the material they use or what it is, but I particularly like that, and yeah, I think this is a lot of fun.
I really like this one, Emily, because the other ones are more the traditional rectangular shape that you expect to see. But in this one, I love this little, I guess, for lack of a better word, bite that's been taken out of the side of the shape. And then the way these, I guess these are like little washers that maybe you use, like these are super graphic and crisp, but then up here it becomes very ethereal. So you're getting just a wonderful range of different marks, and cyanotypes have this almost ethereal, eerie look to them that it seems like you've embraced just so beautifully. So, Jordan, what do you think of this process photo?
Oh, I honestly didn't understand until just now. Okay, no, that's interesting. I'm noticing there's so much more of a deeper contrast too in the cyanotype print versus the original photo. That I actually wasn't expecting that. It's really interesting.
And so this one is like a photogram where basically you just take objects like the netting, the washer, and it then creates that image. And thank you so much, Emily, for providing these progress photos because they really help explain the process to people. So here you can use textures, diluted vinegar, spray and salt, even coffee filters. How cool is that?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore. This is so interesting.
Old t-shirts. Yeah, Emily, you did such a great job experimenting and trying so many different approaches. Next artist is Anna Mitchell. And this is Anna's very first ever printmaking piece. Anna created this piece with limited time at their local art museum. Anna says that I started with a couple thumbnail sketches, eventually carved out the block in a half an hour. I love discovering new techniques and broadening my experiences. I mean, isn't that such a special moment? Like the very first time you do some art media?
Oh yeah, totally. I think it's great to kind of expand horizons and also just be very pleased with what it is that you're trying to create. I think that it's very rare for that to happen. So whenever it does, gotta take those moments and just appreciate them for what they are.
I mean, Anna, I can't believe you carved this so fast. I mean, carving is not the easiest thing. And I'm just so in love with that background, like especially this top section with all the patterns of the leaves, and you've got the dynamic gesture of the tiger coming down. So, Anna, I really hope this is the first of many prints to come because really it's just that first print. You just got to do that one thing, and then it doesn't feel so daunting. Yeah, Lisa says the leaves finish. So much detail. Very cool. I love all these comments that people are giving each other. Okay, the next artist is Crispy. And so here we have again, like the technique that Pat did, which is a rubber stamp. And so Crispy talks about testing their skills. Crispy went with a wood mounted linoleum block and wanted to see how it would look on a different background. And so Crispy ended up doing some experiments with colored paper and says, I feel like it looks nicer with the design. I'm glad I pushed myself to finish it, and I'm proud of the outcome. What do you think?
Oh, this is so cool. I like how you're just making cool characters out of this now. It's starting to get into a realm I understand a little more. No, but this is really fun. I like how graphic it is. I like the details that you're putting on the face, especially in the nose and the ears. I think that's a lot of fun.
I think your line quality is so unusual, Crispy, because some of the lines have a very gestural, soft, swooping quality, like the tail is sort of like that. But I love how the ears have just these slight little changes, and then the feet almost look hard and more rigid, say, compared to the softness of the ear. So that's really hard to do because it's just line. And this is a different kind of line than I would say, when people are doing digital, you're not carving around things, you're just making the line. But here it's like you've made the line, you have to carve around it. That's hard. And you do have to really plan things in advance. Otherwise, you can get yourself in a pretty sticky situation. Yeah, Seven Angelic says Crispy, great lines. And Emily says, I want to see everyone's animal prints in an exhibit. I do too. I wish we could build our own art prof museum or something. Maybe when we get the endowment going.
Fund it.
No, not anytime soon. But yeah, isn't it fun? Look at how different this is than the one we saw earlier, which is on the more tan paper. What do you think about the orange one?
I like the orange because it feels so much more intense. It feels like late sunset, and I don't know, it's more moody to me, and I think that it really helps me connect with the image even more.
We've got some prizes to give out. The honorable mention goes to Emily Wilkins for all those lovely cyanotypes. Congratulations to Emily. And the prize goes to Pat McElroy for this beautiful set of robot prints. Great job, everybody. We're so proud of you and everything that you accomplished in the past week. Let's move on to the May art dare. You guys ready for this one? Fan art. Create fan art using any subject. Can you guys tell we've been on the fan art roll? So this goes way back to Jordan's childhood. You guys, Jordan's so cute. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So adorable. Oh my God.
I still don't know how you got this photo because I don't even have it on my computer. This must have been like 4 or 5 years ago when I sent you this.
Magic. The magical art prof archives are here for you.
Oh my gosh.
So fan art played a really big part in your development as a young artist, right, Jordan?
I think my first drawings technically were fan art. Now that I think about it, because I would draw what I saw. No, rhyming intended there. But I would look at Hercules, Tarzan, Lion King, all that different stuff, and that's what would entice me to want to do more. And it wasn't for a very long time that I started creating my own characters. So this was the foundation.
I'm curious, those of you in the chat, who here grew up doing fan art? Because I guess I'm the odd one out. Like, I just didn't do fan art when I was a kid. Of course, I'm doing more than enough of it now to make up for it. But who here grew up making fan art? Who does it now? And who is a weirdo like me and never really did it until a few weeks ago, or it has no plans to do it? That's fine, whatever. But fan art's really fun, Jordan. I didn't know.
It's super fun. That's why me and Kat and Mia were trying to get you into it for a while.
Well, you have to find something you like really love or it doesn't work. Like, isn't that part of the formula?
Well, yeah, I mean, fan art, you have to be a fan of it. And so I think a lot of what drives it is the fact that you are obsessed or at least in love with whatever it is that you're working on.
Yes, I am. I am very much in love with Air to Fate.
Yeah, I use
so
that word. I
bad.
use
Oh
that
my
phrase on
gosh.
purpose.
Oh my gosh. I'm following like all the Aaron Tveit fan accounts on Instagram and TikTok. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys really have it together. It's like within an hour of some news clip being posted, it's like on TikTok. I'm like, thank you guys. I don't have the time to do this research. But so I was surprised, Jordan, because I was just going to do this as a one off because I was like, oh, we're doing this fan art draw along. But I kind of got really into it. It's so fun. Plus, I'm like, oh, I need to look at his hair again. He's got really cute hair.
I think your motivation might be slightly different than the average person, but it's still, you're right. It is
Yeah.
super fun. And, for me, when I get to draw Spider-Man, when I get to draw Aang or Black Panther or something, it's fun because I get to add my own spin on already established character or project. And no one else is able to do it like me. And that's what I think is so fun about it. And you don't have to put the thought into creating it yourself.
Plague on Humanity says, I started with Little Pony bases, still draw my OCs. And Emily did Disney coloring books. And Manette says, didn't even hear of fan art till I was an adult. Yep, just like me. Do enjoy it, but don't do it very often. Okay, I'm not such a weirdo. Edie also says, I didn't do fan art as a young person. Jane says, started drawing anime, Sailor Moon fan art. And Jane also approves of your Emperor's New Groove fan art, Jordan.
Appreciate it.
You know what's funny though? I'm still going with this, Jordan. Like I'm not done. Like
Really?
I still have a lot. I know. Well, because I did this version, which took forever. This one's like very highly rendered and super detailed. But the thing is, my initial thought was that I'd make this really gestural piece and it'll be so bold. And then it didn't happen. I just ended up like totally rendering it to death. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a new one. It's going to be more gestural, but I have to do all these thumbnails. And it's just so fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
I am. And, I get it now because obviously a lot of us want to make our own creative work. You've got shadow boxers. I've got my bread fairy work, but sometimes it's a lot of effort to work on those creative projects of your own.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it when you're creating something brand new, there is a lot of stuff that has to go into it, and sometimes it's nice to almost take a break from your own
Yeah.
stuff to just go and do something that's more fun. It's like indulging, but you're also growing with your skills.
Well, that's the thing is I'm not inventing the story of Moulin Rouge, but the thing is I have the building blocks. Like I know, okay, this is some of the designs that's involved. Here's what sort of the look of the pieces. And so I don't have to start entirely from scratch. And I was having so much, I was like doing thumbnails, I was doing ink studies. It was just like really nice to just give up that responsibility. And some fan art can really put you out there. Like Mia made this piece for this very famous podcast, and I think they ended up reposting it or something. She did the same thing with Abbott Elementary. I think their main Instagram also reposted. So there's also, don't you think, a social aspect to fan art too?
Yeah, it's a community. First off, that's really cool for me. But yeah, there is a social aspect, and I think once you are creating something or working on something that a lot of other people appreciate, you become a part of this community all of a sudden, and other people who are fans of Abbott Elementary or whatever it is can appreciate it as well. And sometimes, these, like you said with Mia, they get to post it on their own platform, and it helped boosted her out.
My fan art goal. I want Aaron Tveit to repost. I'm like trying so hard to get it. Oh my god, if he reposts, I'm gonna have a freaking heart attack. So maybe he shouldn't repost because I want to stay alive. Anyway, the Art Dare Leap is to create 4 fan art pieces. And remember, hang out with us in the Discord. It's so fun. Everybody working together through the entire month. I know so many of you guys who did the printmaking Art Dare. You were comparing notes and giving people suggestions for techniques and things like that. So hang out in the Discord because people have so much fun getting inspired by each other and getting different ideas. To officially submit to the Art Dare, you need to tag us on Instagram. with hashtag ArtProfDare. But if you are not on social media, we do have a Google form that's on our website. You will find the link in the YouTube video description below. By the way, we are doing registration for workshops in May. We have a few spots left in the Drawing Cats workshop, which is this Saturday. And Erin Tveit wants you to know that we also have artist apps, exhibiting your art, artist websites, commissions for artists. Oh my God. I love this picture of it. Oh my God.
You okay?
Anyway.
Take a breath.
That's breathing. May studio workshops, fan art party to go along with our theme, and also sketchbooks. Please join us in the Discord right after the stream. We are going to be doing a stage session. That's where you get to chat with us on voice. Join our Patreon group. You get to share your art with staff in weekly voice sessions. I provide lots of critiques and support, which I do not provide in the public channels. And most of all, you find support in a small group of artists, people who are really invested in each other's progress. Our Prof has services. We have artist calls, personal art curriculum, statement editing, portfolio critiques, and visit artprof.org because there is so much content on there that is not on YouTube. The best way to use it is to use the search bar. Big thank you for our wonderful top Patreon supporters. You guys make me so proud every day, the way you contribute to keep us up and running. Art Prof has a podcast. It's available on Spotify and also on iTunes. And subscribe to our channel for more tutorials, critiques, and business tips. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.